Good evening, KP Heathen. Thank you for coming. And Sam Gloves. Good evening, Sam. For you, my friend, I got gloves. And I will put one on. I will tell you. My first aid kit didn't have any, so I bought a whole pack of them. I couldn't find my others. But these are gloves! Oh, Sam. One or two in the house. Let's see if I'm picking up over here. Home. I tell you what, it's been a wild 10 days since I've been here last. Trying to pull this up. Oops. Let's see. Oh, man. Let's see if that killed the mic. Oh, God darn it. Can you still hear me? Golly geez. I just hate this. Let's see. Yeah. Stranger's right. Yeah. It still hasn't stopped. It still hasn't stopped. I want to break this thing. Maybe this will kill it. I just love having to deal with crap like this. Where is the volume? Well, I'm getting ready to start spreading some expletives. I've been having grief with equipment. I'll just shut it. Let me tell y'all a story. So, for whatever reason, my iPad died. It was a Generation 3 iPad. It died. And then my iPhone 7, it stopped connecting to the internet. And I started having some serious problems with it. And so I could not live stream. I ordered a replacement iPhone, a newer one, and I changed the internet service. So I have a new internet service, and I have a newer reconditioned iPhone. I got an iPhone 12. I had an iPhone 7. I got an iPhone 12. I paid $235 for it, and the iPhone's working just fine. I apologize that I haven't been doing anything. I actually had been shooting stuff. I just haven't posted anything. I haven't been able to until today. So hopefully tomorrow I will post some new material. And I opened up a box that had my Blue Eddy EP70S. And I did a video of the Blue Eddy, and I'm going to upload that. I had that shot and edited, and I'm going to upload it. And I appreciate all of you who have been, mentioning me and contacting me, and I do apologize. I've been very frustrated, and then I was having problems with this bloody computer, and trying to shut the volume off on it. Because, you get that echo. You got to turn the volume off and you get that echo. So I'm just you're not catching me at my best right now. So I'm basically using this new iPhone 12s. I'll do a short showing pictures of it when I got it, what it looks like out of the box and everything. My daughter helped me get it set up and rolled over to the new. Had difficulty getting it to do that. For one, you have to upload everything to the iCloud, and then it translates it over to the new phone. So my daughter did that for me. And she's a lot more knowledgeable about these things. She was born after the internet was already out, and she grew up with internet and all that sort of stuff. I did not. So we had also Hurricane Beryl, and it was thought that it might come in where we live in Victoria, Texas. I'm 20 miles inland off the coast of the Gulf, and at one point they thought it was going to come into northern Mexico, then they thought it was going to come into southern Texas, and then it was going to be Corpus Christi, Texas, and then it was going to be Victoria, somewhere around Victoria, and it actually came in up north and east of us. The other thing about the storm is that the storm winds and all, the way that the storm, because it was a smaller storm when it got here. At one point it was like a category 5 when it was down in the Caribbean, tearing it up down there. But when it came across the Yucatan Peninsula, it really knocked it down. And when it got back into the Gulf, it barely became a category 1. It had, maximum winds were like about 80 miles an hour when it came ashore. And it did a number on Galveston, and it did a number on Houston, Texas. And there are a couple of million people right now up in Houston that do not have power. And there were some people who died in this storm, so you can't play with these things. So today, and mind you, right now I'm looking at the screen, and what I'm looking at, oops, I just blocked it. What I'm looking at is very small, so I know there are people there, but I don't know who's there. And I'm not writing down names or anything, so I mean, I can barely tell who's there. But I see you there, Sam, and I've got a glove on. Sam was on me about he's got a thing for gloves, and I got frustrated because I went into my first aid kit and I said, I'll pull out a glove and I'll show you gloves, you know. And I didn't have any in there. So I said, the hell with that. So I went down to Rogers and I bought a box of gloves. These are large size gloves. I go down there and I buy my wife gloves all the time. She uses them for cleaning and for various things. And she's got very small hands, so I always get her small boxes. And I wound up picking up 3 boxes of gloves for her. So I said, well, I'll get a box of gloves for myself, you know. But, you know, in all seriousness, the storm in the topic for today involves your plans for an evacuation. My friend and mentor, Alan Sato, had sent me this about a week or so ago. Well, actually, it's been 10 days since I've been on. I've been off for 10 days. And he sent me this information. He said, you know, this would be a good topic for you. So let me go through this. What is your evacuation and backup plan? Do you have plans? If you had to leave, where do you go? Do you have a safe relocation area? Do you basically just get in your car and start driving? What do you do? And you're not going out to the woods. I really don't think it's wise to talk about going out to the woods. Do you go to family, a motel, a hotel? Do you have the cash to go to a resort? Do you book a resort, you know, and go to a resort for a period of time, you know? So, you know, there's a storm and it's going to be coming and you don't know exactly when it's going to get there. They can tell you when it's going to get there, but you know, you can be a little bit off on when it gets there and exactly where it's going to come in. So do you have some people that'll put you up for a while? Your family, do you have family to go to? You know, if you're younger, do you have your in-laws or your outlaws or, you know, relatives? Most people wait too long or they have a fantasy to ride it out. Well, I don't think it's a fantasy to ride it out. When Hurricane Harvey, which was a Category 3 hurricane, came through Victoria, I was here. This is like 7 years ago. We stayed. And we didn't have any damage. And Harvey was a stronger hurricane than Beryl. Didn't have any damage. Tore up the yard, knocked some tree limbs down, did some damage, blew stuff around. But as far as the structure of my house, didn't have any damage, didn't have any broken windows or anything. And so it's not necessarily a fantasy to stay for a storm. If you've got a well-built house built back in the days, and you know that it will survive a storm, you know, based on the fact that it's been through them before, then, you know, it's not really crazy to say stay where you're at. So, do you have alternate routes and transportation? Do you have transportation? Most people say, well, I'll take my car, I'll take my truck or whatever. Walking really is an option. You know, if you're trying to leave for a storm, walking's not an option. It's too slow. You're not going to walk it. You're not going to hike it out. You know. You get storms. They're coming at you. They're moving 12, 15 miles an hour. Physically moving 12, 15 miles an hour. And you're not going to be walking at anywhere near that speed. You know. So, you know, if you don't have some place to go, if you don't have somebody to take you in, if you don't have the funds, then the last resort would be like an evacuation center. You know, they do have places where they'll put people up for the storm. You can't take guns, you can't take knives, can't take pepper spray. It's state and local shelters, and they usually have law enforcement to enforce and make sure people behave. It's a safe environment. They want a safe environment. The quality of the shelter depends on location and the state budgets. So you have to think about stuff like that. You have to think about that. Um, let me go over statistics real fast just to show you where things are. So my last video that I did, my last live stream, was on the 1st, which was a Monday. And we're on Thursday the 11th, so it really had been 10 days since I've done a live stream. I have 1,612 subscribers. I had 1,612 subscribers 10 days ago. Right now, for the last cycle, which is 28 days, I have 14.2K views. My views are down, but there are people who have been blessing me, trying to help me keep my views up. My watch time is down to 395 hours. So, yeah, I'm down on my watch time, probably over 150 hours. I haven't done anything. Normally my watch time, I'm normally getting about 20 watch hours a day. And so yeah, last 10 days, I'm way down on my watch time. My last live had 150 views, and there have been a few people who come and visited it since I did the live. My last short, which has been out for, like I said, about 10 days, 415 views. And my last video, which was my giveaway video, 70 views. So the next person that will be getting a goodie box from me will be the Black Widow. I have her mailing address now, and she'll be the one. I've got all the stuff for her box. I just got to put it together, and she'll be getting She'll be getting the next goodie box. I'm going to be putting out several shorts. I'm going to go back to trying to put out 2 shorts a day. When I get through with this, I'll try to put out a short. I've been recording stuff. And I did an unboxing of my Blue Eddy, which I've been telling people forever I was going to unbox the Blue Eddy. Well, I unboxed the Blue Eddy, and I've got footage of that, and I'm going to have a description of it and all the particulars. Prime days are coming up, the 16th and 17th of the Prime sale. So if you want to spend some money on Amazon, the 16th and the 17th will have the best deals. I just got a Bouge RV 45-liter refrigerator freezer, a nice one with wheels and a handle and all that sort of good stuff. I just got one in. I need to do an unboxing of it. It's sitting out in my living room in a big box. So that's something you can look forward to. I'll be doing an unboxing, and it's a little bit bigger version than the other one that I have. I have one just like it, but it's a smaller, about 10 liters less. It's like a 34-liter version. This is like a 45-liter version. I decided to get a bigger one. The wife wanted another one that she could take on the trips. And that's basically where I'm at right now. So my new phone works really fine. I think it's probably giving you a little better image than the 7 did. It's a 5 generations newer. Paid $235 for it. It's a refurbished. Just to let you know, like if I wanted to buy a 14 like my wife has, it's $1,000. I could buy one and make payments on it for 2 years. But I said, no, I don't want to make payments. I'm already making payments on hers, and I still got about 6 months to go before hers is paid off. And so I switched to T-Mobile. I had the Sudden Link, and I decided to go ahead and switch over to T-Mobile. I had my daughter on T-Mobile with full whatever, and I got the plus 55, so I've got the same setup that she has. It just cost me an extra $20, which I transferred off of Optimum, which is Suddenlink and Optimum are together. Like Optimum bought out Suddenlink, and I switched over. I'm going to be switching my wife over. I didn't do the wife today, I just did me. And that was an adventure, I don't know why I've had the problems that I've had. I was looking at the calendar today. I go back to work on the 6th, and I'll have 5 work days, in-service workday combination, and then the kids will come back on the following Monday. No, following Tuesday. Following Tuesday in August. I truly appreciate all of the support and comments I've received from people. I appreciate the text messages and such that I've received from people. I really appreciate you. And, you know, Sam, still got that glove on. You know, the idea of having gloves and having stuff in your kit, like having a good rain poncho, having a good Mylar type, you know, emergency blanket, the small kind, you know, that you can fold out and it'll help you. It's important to have, you know, emergency supplies. I gave my wife, I got the other emergency radio in, and it's charged up. It's got an 18650 battery in it. It's charged up. It said it works really well. So I gave it to my wife with the instructions, and my daughter has one just like it. I had those two. My wife's family came and visited. Two of her sisters came and visited. I gave each one of them the little red ones. You know, which they're fine. You know, they're fine. They're just cheapos. You know, $18 at Walmart. You know, a lot of times you buy stuff or you get stuff or you inherit stuff, and then when you have the funds, you upgrade. So that would be just fine for them. You know, it's got a little flashlight, it's a crank. They can get the emergency weather channel. The one that the replacement one I got, it's really nice. You know, you can USB charge it, and you can. It's got a flashlight. I'm not really worried about the flashlight, but it's got. You get the weather band. You get different bands, so you can get the shortwave bands. Listen to people. You can listen to the emergency channel, the NOAA weather, and you can also get the local channels, so I can listen to talk radio. It also has a plug-in for an earphone, which I did not do. I need to buy earplugs for them and give them earplugs. And like I said, it's about twice as expensive. It was like $40. And the other ones that I got, the Walmart ones, were like $18. Well, with tax, about $20. The Bouge RV that I bought, tax, title, license, delivered, $400. The smaller version I got, when I got it, was about $300 when I got it on sale. And I'm still going to be looking at, you know, the Prime, what to get for the Prime, because my wife's she's got another camping trip scheduled this next month going to go to the Coletto Creek for a few days. You know, she does about 3 times a year. She does that, and so the last time she said, well, the one wasn't enough, you know. She brings a bunch of stuff. So, you know, she'll take both of them, and then she'll have plug into shore power for it. But she'll take a couple of the solar, you know, lithium storage, power stations. Just trying to figure out what's going on as far as you know, what I'm doing. it's like being in another world. You're not connected with what you normally do. I normally spend 2-3 hours a day on my channel for stuff, and I haven't been doing that. And I do a lot more. I've been doing a lot more reading. I'm reading a survival magazine right now. Are you prepared? Your home property ready? Are you properly ready? And it's like, do you stay or do you go? Which is sort of like the topic. Prepare your home. Do you have a backup? Tools, stuff in the kitchen, food and water. What would you use? Power, safety, communications. Keep your sanity. These are topics. And it talks about the ability to heat water and shows a radio, and you can get undersized solar panels that you can use to charge stuff. You don't have to have a big. You don't have to have a big solar panel if you're looking to basically charge a. If you're trying to charge like a light or your phone or a pad, smaller stuff like your emergency radio. You can have like a 30-watt foldable panel, these little lightweight jobs that you can just lay out in the sun, and it'll charge that stuff without any problems. You basically have to look at the equipment that you have and what are you trying to accomplish. You can get like a battery charger that you can plug into your 12 volt and lay out a little folding panel on your dashboard, and the light from that, the power that comes in from that would flow into your car battery. Reverse flow into your car battery. You can use it to charge your battery. You have these old deep cycle batteries. They're like deep cycle batteries, and they were great back in the day, but now it's like lithium. And like I said, for Prime Day, I'm looking to get some replacement lithium batteries, like some 100 amp hour, which is 1300 watts of power. 100 amps is 1300 watts. So what that basically means is it would run continuously for 1 hour at 1300 watts. If you're trying to drain it out, it would produce 1300 watts of power continuously for 1 hour, and that's what a 100 amp hour battery would do. And then if you were to run it all the way down, then you've got to recharge it, and you can use it as you recharge it, but it's like, so if you're running stuff that doesn't use a lot of power. And the thing about 12 volt, because I'm real big on 12 volt. So the thing about 12 volt appliances and 12 volt, like a refrigerator, a 12 volt refrigerator, they will run on probably 50 watts when they're running. You got like a big refrigerator out, in your kitchen, or out in your garage, or a big freezer. When the thing starts up, it's really putting out, and it's really using a lot of power. It may be using 1,000 watts of power when it's running, but it cycles. It only runs for a few minutes and then it turns off for 30-40 minutes. Well, it's the same thing with one of these compressor driven, refrigerator, freezer 12 volts. They're not as big, but when they're running, they're only running like at 50 watts or so, 45, 50 watts of power. Big ones maybe 60 watts. So when it's running for 8 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or however long it takes to keep it at whatever temperature you got it set for, because they cycle on and off, it's only using so much power. So whereas, your regular refrigerator, and you're using 110, you're using AC 110 with that. and it's going to use a lot more power. Whereas your, like, if you've got an RV, you know, a camper, you're using DC, which is direct current, and DC appliances and such use under 100 watts. 12 volt is going to be under 100 watts of power. So you're going to, it's going to run a lot longer without having to recharge it. Or if you are recharging it, it's going to recharge a lot easier to top it back off, because you're not going to be using that much power. I mean, even if the thing was cycling constantly, it was just running constantly at 50 watts, you know, over a period of 12 hours, you're only going to use 600 watts. And if you've got like one 100 amp hour battery, that's not even half the capacity of the battery. And then the following day, as long as you've got some sunlight, it's going to recharge back up. You know, with solar panels. And usually what happens is you get a person and they'll chain them. So they'll have several of them chained together. So if you just say, if I said, okay, I can get these for about $250 a piece, say I want 3 of them, that's $750, which you think that's a lot of money, but you know, you want to go get a power station, you get a power station that's got about 1/3 that power, which is about 100 amps, 100 amp hours. You're going to pay right at $1,000 for that power station. Whereas I'm talking about 3 times the power in those batteries when you chain them together, and it's going to have 3 times the power for maybe $750. And I might get a better deal. I'll get a little bit better deal than that on Prime days. So that's what you want to think about. The other thing is you can buy one. When you got the money, you can buy a second one and chain it together. You got money, you can buy a third one. You can chain 4, 5, 6 of them together. It just depends on how much power do you need for what you're running. The other thing is, if you're going to be running AC, you're going to have an inverter. You get a pure sine wave inverter. Well, an inverter is going to cost you $250 or so for an inverter. And the thing is, when you got that inverter on, it's drawing power. You know, if it's powering something, it's drawing power. Whereas 12 volts is not going to be bleeding power off. You know, if you got the thing on, 12 volts is not going to be bleeding power the way, you know, an inverter would. An AC inverter, whether you're drawing power of it or not, if you got that inverter on, it's drawing power. It's probably drawing as much power as your DC would be if it was pumping out 50 watts of power. So you have to look at that. You have to think about that. But you want appliances, and you want, like, I've got a 12 volt kettle that'll heat water. Runs on 12 volt DC. I've got a 12 volt cook pot. I've got, as an example, this is a 12 volt. This is a 12 volt fan. I've got several of these. When this thing's on, it's drawn. If this runs constantly for 1 hour, and I paid less than $40 for it, if that thing is running constantly for 1 hour, it's going to use 25 watts of power. So if I was to run it for 12 hours, it would use 300 watts. It would use 300 watts. It would basically draw down, if I had a 100 amp hour battery that's 1300 watts, it would basically, to run that for 12 hours overnight, it would use 300 watts of power. Because it's drawing power constantly, and it's running at 25, it's a 25 watt, it's drawing 25 watts on low. And trust me, on low, it's still putting out plenty of air. So, you know, I'm a real big advocate of 12 volt appliances and 12 volt batteries and lithium and all that sort of stuff. I'm getting ready to replace a battery bank that I have out in my kitchen from when I remodeled 6 years ago of deep cycle batteries. The deep cycle. Now, the thing about the deep cycles, this is fine. It's the older technology, but you can only draw them down. You can only use the batteries to 50% power or you damage them. If you go below 50% power on deep cycle batteries, it damages them. And it won't last near as long. And plus, the other thing is, deep cycle batteries won't last near as long as lithium anyway. Good lithium batteries, LiPo batteries, you know, they'll be good 10 years. You know, if you're using on a regular basis, they'll be good for 10 years. Every day you're using them, you're drawing them down and recharging them. 10 years, you got a 10-year life or longer. Whereas with deep cycle, a couple of years and they're worn out. Plus, you can only draw them down, you know, half power. If you draw down below half power, they'll last a lot shorter time than that. So you have to think about that kind of stuff. Hello, Rachel. And living my best life. Hello, Echo. I will get back to running a playlist, and I will get back to running live streams to give playtime to my friends. Dave, appreciate you. And missed you guys. Anyway, so this being my first live stream in 10 days. I don't think I'm going to do a full hour on it. One, I'm messed up right now with the laptop. I really can't. I'm not writing down names. I'm not, you know, so I can go back and I haven't been writing down names. I've just been talking. I still need to find a wingman or wing lady to help me out. And I couldn't get my... I couldn't turn my volume off on my laptop, which I'm upset with myself. And I got frustrated and I just shut the damn thing. But see, stuff like that happens, you know, and you got to be ready. Somebody would basically want to spank my hand and say, oh, you know, you're not prepared. And I've been having orders from Amazon come in. I've been having my number 10 cans come in. I've been doing inventory on what I have and how long it will last. You know, my inventory of stuff. When the sister-in-laws came, they went out into the pantries and they did reorganization like you would not believe. I mean, they threw out stuff, they organized stuff, they got stuff together. I mean, it looks nice out there. Now, they weren't writing down, but they were organizing. They were putting stuff together where it should go, and they're moving this, and they're moving that, and you should have seen them, you know, with the rice and with the beans and with all the various, you know, stuff. They did a really good job, and I gave them some money for their trouble. And they stayed with us for a couple of days. You know, every day when you get up, thank God for the day. Pray. I pray. I just say the Lord's Prayer. I think a lot. I drink my coffee. I just finished a cup of coffee a little while ago before I started. And I'm best in the morning, like the president. They say the president's good between 10 and 4. If you want him to be presidential, he's best between 10 and 4. And I'm usually best before lunch. You know, I get up early. I usually get up around 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm blowing and going. And you know, I'm good until early afternoon, and then it's like the batteries start running down. But you know, that's the way things are. And David says he's something. Let's see. Oh Lord, here we go. David says he can't really see the chat tonight. No, Melinda, I really can't unless I just get right up in front of it. Another thing I need to do is I need to go and I need to have my eyes checked, and then I need to get new glasses. Now what I will probably do, because the last like 3 times I got my eyes checked, I used the same frame. Well, I didn't use the same frame, but I used the same style of frame, so it really didn't look like I had new glasses, even though I had new glasses. But I need to go have my eyes checked, and then I will have, I will probably use similar frames, and then I have to order them, and they have to send off for this because I'm so blind. I'm like minus 500 and something. That they'll send off for it, and it'll take a week or so for the new glasses to come in. But I'll do that probably this coming week. And I am right at another month before I go back. You know, over 3 weeks before I go back. I just, you know, life is good, but it is what it is. You know, crap happens, and I'm not technological. Luckily, I got a daughter who's a lot better at this mess than I am, and she basically held me by the hand and she took care of it for me. And you know, thank God for her every day and tell her I love her. And she's a blessing. 26 years old, just turned 26 this past month, at the end of this last month. And she finished her master's in clinical counseling at the end of December, and she's going to be taking her test for her license and then getting her hours and all that crap so she can get her, you know, her LPC, licensed professional counselor, so she can do professional counseling and all that. And she'll probably go back to work after she takes her test to Gulf Bend, and she'll do intake, because she was doing case management with them before, working with youth, and now she's probably going to do intakes, and that's where you know, do all to get them in the program and everything. And there's so many people that receive services, adults, kids. It really is it's a business. So I wanted an inexpensive watch that I could use. So I ordered a Smith & Wesson, which is made in China. You think Smith & Wesson? Well, this is the brand of they produce stuff overseas. You know, it's a watch. Came with 3 bands. It came with a green one, a black one, and a tan one. I got the green one on. And it's got the date. Keeps good time. Only $32. $32. And it's a, I mean, I've got my Invicta. You know, they think, well, what'd you pay for that? Well, when I got it, it was about $150, like several years ago, like $150. Got it at Sam's. And I've had the battery replaced several times. It's not super expensive. I've got a German tag that I've had forever that I rarely will I wear it. You know, they're a step down from Rolex, but they're very nice, you know. And I don't wear it much. I'm not into jewelry. None of my rings fit me. I've got 2 graduate rings from my 2 master's degrees, and they don't fit. Wedding ring doesn't fit. Nothing fits. And I don't wear jewelry. I don't feel the need to wear jewelry, and I don't have to show off, you know, whatever. So I will plan on being back tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have my act a little bit better together. I can just say that the equipment's working, the internet's working. I don't think I have been rolling or anything. I don't think I've had any delays. I don't look like Max Headroom, if you remember Max Headroom. So everything's working fine. Thank the Lord. I appreciate everybody. I thank you for being here. And hello, Enrique Trevino, Uncle Al, and Sam. I like the gloves on both hands as well. Yeah, well, if I was actually using them, I'd have them on both hands. But I wanted to show you I got gloves, and I can certainly have some more on tomorrow. It's a box, and I went and I got this over at Rogers Pharmacy, and this is a box of 50, and I paid $11.36 with tax, and it's 50 gloves, 50 latex PF examination gloves. You can use these like if you're cooking or if you're cleaning and whatnot. I get my wife these gloves, and anyway, I will plan on being back tomorrow. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for coming. I apologize for being gone for 10 days. And everybody, please remember the Scout motto is be prepared, preparedness. Thank those who support you. Thank responders. Everybody, when you get to be my age, is a teacher. Whether you think you are or not, you got grandkids, you got kids, you got people that you work with. Maybe you're a supervisor. A good supervisor needs to be a good follower. Good leaders lead by example. Everybody, please remember that. And thank responders. Thank those that help you, and thank those that serve you. The military, veterans, police, sheriff's department, people who risk their lives, EMS workers, fire people, they risk their lives, and people die in the service of our country and our cities every day. Remember that. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for another edition of Coffee Talk. Thank you. Bye-bye.